Now, the rest of the story.
Well, I am managing to do my trial. That's what I'm currently in the process of doing. I just made the first, well, I'm just about to finish the first 12 rows. I did the first 6. And you can see right there. This was no-tilled in the soybean stubble. The stand is, well, it's the same video I did that crop update video in. The stand is beautiful. The stuff is able to be cultivated. We're dry right now. I mean, we're not drought, we're dry. You know, 2 different D words there. And we're really not getting much of any curling here. I wouldn't even know if you'd really, depending on who you are, but I haven't really seen much of any of our crops showing much of stress yet. And you can see in this first pass I made, man, there is, I can make a mud ball. There is moisture there. The big thing is you worry about compaction, and this is a good example. I know worms and all that noise, but this is the stuff I talk about when I cultivate. I like breaking open that, because you can see right down the row, it's like I'm peeling up that concrete, and it's allowing air to get down into the soil. This is before I actually dropped it down and made it a little bit more aggressive. I tilted the top link back 2 more cranks, and I can show you really quick. But this pass has been given fertilizer. So I'm doing 12 rows. I went back on the end row and I counted back my 12 rows, so I do know that when I come to harvest this fall, as long as I keep my information accurate, which I'm going to send myself a text message once I'm done here with everything I did and where it's at. I'm going to leave the flags in, because I do have flags marked, so I do have a point of reference as to where all this stuff is. But just off the bat, everything from here that way is not being touched. The whole farm is being Y dropped. So what am I trying to figure out here when I do this? I'm trying to decide, to make the conclusion of, on ground that is able to be Y dropped. I have ground that cannot be Y dropped, by the way. Is it beneficial going through cultivating while side dressing, or not doing anything at all, if I'm going to be going through and having them Y drop it anyway? Is the benefits of cultivating it going to be helping me or not? I have ground that the only way to get in-season nitrogen on it is that unit right there. So I mean, it's not like the cultivator is going away. But when you start getting to the point where I can't run over everything, I already can't run over everything, and it allows me the information needed to know whether or not, what fields I can go, that doesn't need it, that doesn't need it, that definitely needs it, and go from there. So I think Y dropping is going to be, I think we're a few weeks off yet, a couple weeks off yet. I mean, the stuff's got to be significantly higher yet, usually about shoulder height. But we are getting the soil breakage, breaking up the soil a bit there with the cultivator, versus when you Y drop, it's just putting the product right next to the row, which is what I'm doing with the cultivator right now. And then with the dirt being rolled over, it's pushing the tubes up against it, so it is giving it a little bit of a kick to the roots and helping the corn perform. So starting from here, these first 12 rows, because I went down and back because it's a 6-row cultivator, these 12 rows have been cultivated and given my standard rate of fertilizer. So this is one of the downsides of cultivating here. Not really sure what happened, other than the fact that I took out 2 plants, 1 plant, 2 plants. This is something else that's actually going to help with this test. Is cultivating worth the potential plants that you knock over. The later you let this stuff go, you know, the taller you let it get, the more it can handle being hit with this dirt. And I don't like seeing any plants taken out at all. And this farm actually has some pretty wicked potential, to be honest. Now here's a good example of my first pass before I did anything, and then the pass where I dropped it down and I'm actually sinking in there. That is typically what I run when I cultivate. I'm not going to go through and redo that pass. It accomplished what I'm looking for it to accomplish, because what I'm doing is it'll be this first 12 rows cultivated and side dressed. I'm going to do another 12 rows right next to these 12 cultivated, no fertilizer. Then I'm going to skip 12 rows, not do anything with them. They're going to be my control right between the two sets of trials, you know. And then I'm going to go right on down another 12 rows, and I'm going to cultivate with fertilizer, and then another 12 rows I'm going to cultivate without. And I'll keep that in my records, so when I go to harvest this fall, I'm confident when I harvest this, basically I'm going to start on the edge of the field, because I straight tracked it the very first round, the outside round. I straight tracked, so I followed that same line the whole way across the field. So when I go to combine, as long as I have that number 12 row on the 12th planter row when I go to start combining this, and I will stay right true to that the whole way across the field, that's going to give me my test results. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for what results I get. I don't know if am I going to be happy or disappointed that cultivating helps or doesn't help, or it creates bushels or deletes bushels, because I'll tell you, one of the advantages of cultivating is, even though you're taking out plants where that one plant was knocked over, the benefits of working the soil and putting that side dress down is the benefit of losing a plant or two. What do they say? A plant, one ear of corn is what, a penny or two, depending on your populations and all that. This stuff, it's this concrete. This is the stuff I was trying to get the planter through, and I can't hardly squeeze that. That is like a chunk of concrete, guys. I mean, everybody wants to scream no-till, no-till, no-till. I'm not a proponent for no-till, conventional till, strip till, min-till. I don't care. I'm looking for whatever works on any particular field I'm on. Out of all the fields I got, all the farms that we run, we all manage them. We manage them all differently. And here's a good example of a mat of material. So obviously, if you guys can tell, I have an area where I stopped when I was combining beans. So I had about a 5x5 area of soybean stubble built up here, and I drug the cultivator through it. See, look at all that. That's straw that I planted through. But oh, we got a worm. What's left of a worm. And this is what they say about having mats of material left in the fall. Going into spring, you're planting into mud. So it's one of those things that you got to manage. There's so many different things when you're a farmer. There's so many variables that are trying to come and knock your teeth out as far as yield robbers. And I would rather plant into dry soil, not concrete, but plant into dry soil than muddy soil. I like planting into moisture, but if you can get the top layer where your seed discs, your gauge wheels don't mud up, but your trash whippers, your seed discs, your 360-degree wave that is on our planter, and also the Schlegel closing wheels can do their job that they were put on there to do. I've planted into mud. Even with that setup, I don't like it. The corn looks beautiful. We're still working on making some hay. Dad and Ryan are currently cutting hay. I gotta go put some hay away. I'm not done cultivating. I've basically done none. This is the second little bit I've done so far this year. I got over 100 acres that is waiting on urea, but we're waiting on a little bit more height on it because it's just behind this stuff. But a little bit of rain in the forecast would sure be nice. I still got to find time to go fertilize the bottom. I got the liquid, I guess, is down there already, but I have to I got to work on my sprayer yet, but Ryan's got the 46. So this is the job it's doing. As you can see, it's dropping that liquid down right next to the plant, right down to the roots. If you get any rain at all, it's going to wash it right down into the plant. And I think I started saying it at part of this video, earlier part of this video, is without the cultivating, the Y dropping, the top dressing, the side dressing, the reason I came out and basically just spun this trial on quick, it's why I'm doing it right now versus, you know, stacking those last 30 bales in. We get another shot of rain with the heat we're getting. We're not getting unbearable heat. It's only like 78, 79. And we get a little bit more moisture again with this heat. This stuff is going to be waist high on me in no time. I mean, it's currently, well, I don't know, what's knee high? What do you consider knee high anymore? It's definitely knee high no matter how you look at it. I mean, but I was always told, the old timers said knee high by 4th of July. But what they meant by that was you go stand next to the plant, you grab that leaf, on the 4th of July, mind you, and you take that top leaf and you hold it up your leg. And if it's knee high by then, you're gonna have a crop of corn, or a good crop of corn. Well, the problem is, for that to be knee high on me, granted I'm over 6 foot, you're talking about a plant that is what, ankle high? Just over ankle high? I mean, we've come a long way with hybrids and everything, and this isn't a short day corn by any means. I plant the longer day stuff, the dreaded long day corn. It's not dreaded, but I haven't planted anything under 100 day corn ever. I've always done 102, 103, and on up. I think the longest I planted was 113, and that wasn't a bad crop either. So, cultivator's gonna get some love before I put it away this year. I want to go through and change a bunch of the teeth, and when I put it away this year, I want to make sure that it's, when I go to hook up to it next year, it's ready to go. Last year, I'm kind of falling behind on my maintenance program because on like our disc binds and the balers, I was struggling to get everything worked on before I go to unhook it. I'm getting back into not old habits, just running out of hours in the day. So I'm gonna go make the rest of these passes, and I'll get some more in-action footage with my GoPro. And that's the thing about this cultivator. It's been around for basically my whole life. I mean, Grandpa bought it before I was around, and the thing just keeps going. It is showing wear and fatigue, and I did have a guy offer to sell me a 12 row for a few $100 here the other day. I mean, the problem with the 12 row is I only have the 40/20 that's narrowed up, and I was told, especially in our area, everything we have is rolling, gently rolling for the most part, and we don't have basically any flat fields. The only flat farm I have is the hay valley, and with that in mind, the 12 row on a contour doesn't take very long to take out a full 12 rows of corn with, you know, iron blight. The 40/20 does real good. I don't really want to put liquid on the frame or the front end for the exact same reason as I don't want to, you know, tear up the frame or destroy the frame on the 40/20, because I've heard that can be an issue. And you can tell this corn is pretty much at its limit. I finished this a few minutes after this video, and the trial's in. I got the flags down. It's ready to rock. I'm hoping that, I mean, at least we have some valuable data, whether it was worth it or not. I mean, can conclusively, not just a, well, maybe it could, but it's probably the weather, and if on any other year, but you know what I mean? I'll talk to you guys later.